Look, the truth is you can get your clients to pay you double or even triple what you're charging them right now. The only problem is you're not sure how to ask for it and actually get them to say yes. This means you're missing out on hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars a year in revenue and profit. To make it worse, charging prices that barely keep the lights on not only attract low quality clients, but it also doesn't give you the money that you need to go hire the best team, use the best tools, and get your clients the best results so they actually stick around. So pricing isn't just a number that you guess on. It's the single biggest lever in any service business for growth and profit. So today I'm gonna show you how to triple your prices without losing your best clients. If you don't know who I am, my name's Nicholas Kirchner. I'm a 3-time multi-7-figure business owner. I sold my first business at 21, and I've charged all the way from free to north of 100K a month for retainer services. So I know a thing or two about how to price your services appropriately and actually get maximum profit. And by the end of this video, you're gonna go from charging what you are right now to having the positioning, clarity, and authority to charge 3x that. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the biggest mistake that I see is people are selling the plane ride, not the vacation. Now, what I mean by this is you're focused on selling features, you're focused on selling benefits or sub benefits of your product. But the reality is that's not why someone buys from you, and that's not where the real transformation occurs. The reason that someone is going to hire your business to solve a problem for them is because they want transformation. So we want to sell what that end transformation looks like instead of the features. So what does that actually mean? Well, if I offered SEO services instead of saying, hey, we sell SEO, I'm selling, we rank you #1 on Google, and that is going to double your lead flow. Instead of saying, I'm going to build you websites, we build you a conversion rate optimization machine that prints customers for you 24/7. You can see how there's a very tangible difference between selling the tactical benefit and the actual vacation or the dream outcome of our client. And the thing about it is, this immediately positions you as not a vendor, but an actual growth partner. It's not that, hey, I'm buying this service from you. It's I'm buying this transformation from you. And in the sales process, the dynamic is completely different. Because on one hand, I'm selling features that can be compared to somebody else. But if I'm selling a transformation, if I'm selling, I'm gonna make this business 100K a month or $1 million a month more in revenue or profit, how do you actually set a price on that as far as what is too high? And oftentimes when people get pushback on their price, it's because it's like, oh, well, this line item looks like it shouldn't charge that much. How are you gonna put a price on the growth that they are actually looking for? The truth is your prospects can't, and that is why you're able to charge significantly more. Step number 2 to tripling your prices is going to be mastering your positioning. Now, positioning isn't just about what you do, it's why you are uniquely qualified to do it and your unique mechanism for getting your client to that end result. So one big mistake I see with entrepreneurs on this side is that they want to go broad. They are really afraid to niche down. I'm not going to talk too much about niching down here, but there's no argument to be made that going wider gives you pricing power versus being hyper specific. So if you're saying that I only work with one type of business and I've done this hundreds of times. So for example, rather than positioning yourself as just an agency or just a consulting firm or a service provider, you can say, hey, we help SaaS startups go from raising their Series A to their Series B using our unique mechanism. Now, if they go to any other provider for that, who do you think they're going to go with if they're a SaaS company? Well, obviously the person who has exactly lined out, here's the starting point, here's the dream outcome, and I'm the bridge to getting you there. That positioning cannot be competed against, and anything else really isn't an apples to apples comparison. It's apples to oranges. And that in and of itself gives you pricing power. And step number 3, most founders think that positioning establishes pricing. What if I told you that the opposite is equally true? So your price is positioning. And a quick story from my last agency, when we started working with enterprise clients, we were still charging them direct to consumer brand prices. So for example, if we were going to run Facebook ads for them and we were charging them $10,000 a month to a DTC brand, when we took that pricing to a Fortune 500 client, they looked at us and they were like, are you sure that this is legit? And they started doubting our credibility and who we served because our pricing was so off the mark. And what I didn't know at the time is that they were used to seeing proposals and signing agreements for $50K, $100K plus per month. And that mismatch and that incongruence caused them to actually doubt it. So your pricing is equally positioning as what you say that you do. So make sure that you're auditing on a regular basis. Does this price actually match what the market is willing to pay? Because if I hire someone and they're only charging me $10 an hour and I have another person that's charging me $100 an hour, I'm automatically drawing some conclusions in my head around who is going to do a better job. I'm going to assume that the $100 an hour person, well, there must be something there for them to warrant that price. So what are a few tactical things that you can actually do to make sure that you're able to increase your prices? Well, step number one is anchoring your price in a really high ticket service. So right now, if you are at, let's say $3K a month for services, and you want to charge $10K a month, well, have something that's 15 grand a month, because automatically by having that offer, it's giving you pricing power for your lower tiers, which is going to allow you to incrementally charge more just by having that comparison there. So if you don't have a higher price offer that's significantly more expensive than your bread and butter, then I would recommend mapping out what that actually looks like, because it's going to help. Also, you're going to have to get used to saying no to people instead of just saying yes to anyone who walks in their door. A lot of clients that we work with are just trying to get cash in by all means necessary. And hey, I get it, I've been there. But the reality is, if you want to charge more, you have to be willing to say no. And you have to be willing to turn away people who want you to flex on price, and understand that that is likely a client that is not going to be worth your time in the long term, because they don't value the end outcome that you're going to be providing. Now, all of that said, you can sit here and say, double your prices, triple your prices. But the reality is, if you don't have commensurate proof to go along with it and actually show that you're worth that, then you are going to struggle to close deals. So make sure in your sales process, you are hitting on the case studies, the testimonials, the results that you've gotten, because if you can show that even this large amount of money from where you were to where you're charging now is only a fraction of the growth that you're creating, the math just makes sense to charge a percentage of that growth. So your proof needs to be equivalent to your price.
Hey, just wanted to grab a quick second of your time and we'll be right back to the video. But if you find any value in this content at all, then I want to invite you to one of our DNA days in person here in Nashville, where we deep dive into your business, identify what bottleneck is holding you back from growth, and then give you all of our proven systems, processes, and trainings to go ahead and solve that and support after the fact to make sure you realize that growth. So if that's interesting to you, go ahead, click the link in the description. And now back to the video.
Now, every time that I have done this, without fail, all the clients that we've worked with, they come back to me and said, hey, you told me to raise my prices, and I raised my prices and nothing changed. And I'm like, yeah, most of this is just deciding that you're actually going to do a price increase and actually following through and implementing it. I guarantee, even if you can't double your prices from here, you can slowly ratchet up the price sales call after sales call, and you are going to find out where that line is based on the amount of proof that you have accumulated and based on how good your sales skills are. So if you haven't done a price increase, just do one. And if you're nervous, go ahead and start small. And for new clients, this is especially easy because you get a new at-bat every single sales call that you do. So there's no frame of reference for your prospect to compare it against, right? They haven't been working with you at $3,000 a month for a year, and now you're taking them to $5,000. We can talk about that in a second, but it's just, hey, it's $5,000 a month. Next call, hey, it's $7,000 a month. Next call, hey, it's $9,000 a month. And a good rule of thumb for this is if 10% of people aren't complaining about your price, then you're simply undercharging and leaving money on the table. So the main thing I'm trying to get across here, it is way easier to double or even triple the amount of gross profit that you are generating per customer than actually lowering your cost of fulfillment or, reorganizing your team. Pricing is that number one lever, yet it's one of the most neglected things that I see agencies, consultants, and service providers do. Okay, so let's talk about increasing your prices for existing or old customers. Now, we don't want to go ahead and lose clients because we're just going to go ahead and do a huge price increase on them. Now, that is one option, because what you might find is that when you raise the price, you might cut the number of clients you have in half, but now those half clients are worth the same amount of money, and you might be doing less fulfillment work for that smaller group. And typically, those are going to be the highest quality clients that really value you, value the service you provide, and are bought into your brand and process. So that is option number one. Option number two is doing these price increases at key moments in the relationship. So for example, every year you could offer to do a price increase, and this would be a formal price increase letter that goes out to your clients and says, hey, due to inflation, due to labor market, due to the economy, we are raising our prices to be commensurate with new market rates. So if the price increase isn't too drastic, you're going to be able to use that letter, and it's going to be an easy way for people to actually agree, okay, yeah, that makes sense. They're raising their prices too if they're a good business owner. So they shouldn't be too caught off guard by it. Also, another key moment that you can go ahead and ascend your price is going to be upon renewal. So for example, if we're coming up to the end of a contract period, we can go ahead and increase the price, but also add bonuses and additional deliverables within that to make it a net positive for the customer. Yes, the price is increasing, but they're also going to get all of these other things. And if it's framed in a way that it's going to increase the results they're getting or improve the outcome, they should not have a problem with it 9 out of 10 times. Once again, assuming it's reasonable. But you're probably gathering it's easiest to do this on net new customers and then slowly phase out your old customers on the old pricing once they churn. Or if you run a business where you're not really looking to scale an enormous business, you can simply replace your old lower paying clients with brand new higher paying clients as you close those deals. So those are really all of the avenues that you can take when it comes to increasing your price on new and existing customers. So by the end here, you've learned exactly what are the levers within pricing that we need to change to actually go ahead and command what we're worth and double or triple our prices. So if you enjoyed this video, it would mean the world to me if you drop me a like and a subscribe. Over 90% of the people who watch are not subscribed, so it would mean the world, and I'll see you in the next video.